Okay, let me ask you this. Have you ever pulled up a video, a project, or whatever you shot, say 7-10 years ago, and you pull them out today and play them back, and instantly they look outdated? You could literally tell that this footage was shot from years ago. Well, that shouldn't be the case. Your videos should look good today and even in years to come. Well, if you want your videos to look cinematic today and also continue looking good even in the future, then stick around because this video is for you. And if you don't already know who I am, my name is Kennedy Seed. I'm a filmmaker. I've been a filmmaker for over a decade with credits and feature film documentaries, lots of music videos, commercials, and much more. And if you're not already a member of our community, please consider subscribing, liking, and sharing this video so that you can see more content like this from us. We promise to drop new content every month. So why I prefer to shoot all my content in a professional, whether the DSM-C2, the old RED sensors, the Dragon, the Helium, the Gemini, or the DSM-C3, the Komodos, or the Raptor, is probably something a lot of filmmakers don't take into consideration, is how footage ages. Have you put out your work that you shot years back and they can't stand the test of time with cameras that are manufactured most recently? So this is where the RED sensor come in, because I found out that all the footages, all the music videos, all the commercial short film I shot in way far back as 2012, 2014, they still look even a lot better than a lot of footages from cameras that are released most recently. And this type of longevity is very important, especially if you're trying to build a body of work that could stand the test of time. And this is more reason why I stopped chasing camera specs a long time ago. I focused more on image science, and that is why I've built my workflow around the RED Komodo X. There are so many cameras out there. There's the Sony FX9, FX3, which is very popular, Canon and so on, but Canon C70, C50, C80, C500, 400, there's a whole bunch of camera out there. But for me, every creator, every filmmaker have a camera preference that they are very comfortable filming with, probably because of the production workflow, post-production workflow, or because of the image quality, or because of any specific feature their project requires. And if you're someone like me that goes from shooting professional content like documentaries for television, short films, high-end commercials, then you'll be looking at something that would give you even more dynamic range, more image bit depth, and also frame rates. And when I pick up a camera, I'm thinking about flexibility. How much can I push this image before it actually breaks? How does it look after social media? So shooting in 6K gives me the freedom to crop to any aspect ratio, whether I'm reframing, resizing, pinching, punching, zooming. I'm not worried about if the image is gonna be pixelated, if I'm gonna lose quality, because I shot on 6K. But resolution alone doesn't make an image cinematic. You can have all the pixel in the world and still end up with a flat image that looked digital. What really makes the difference is your dynamic range. Dynamic range is what allows you to hold detail in both your shadows and your highlights at the same time. It is what makes your skin tones feel natural. With the RED Komodo sensor, I don't really have to be worried about the lighting condition of wherever I'm filming, what I'm filming in the dark. That's why this is such a good camera for documentary, because you could literally film anywhere. Because of the high dynamic range and the image size 6K, you could always grab good, decent, clean, professional footages. And one thing about dynamic range, as you already know, it has to do with lighting and separation, separating or distincting between the brightest or contrasting between the brightest and the darkest part of the image, which is the shadows. And now what lighting does is almost pretty the same thing, because we already know that filming is all about separating the foreground, the main ground, the background. And somehow you could also use lighting to do that separation, right? That's why you have a 3-point lighting, backlight, side light, key light, filler, and the rest. But then dynamic range, or a sensor with a good or high dynamic range, would always compensate when there is less separation in the frame, in the scene. If the lighting is even poor, with a great sensor like the one in the high-end cameras like the Komodo, the Ariel XR, the sensor is always going to compensate for that separation. So that's the cheat, I would call it a cheat, in using a high-end cameras. Another important step that most people overlook when using the Komodo is the black shading or sensor calibration. Every time I shoot with the Komodo X, I make sure to run a proper black shade calibration. It's one of those steps that might seem minor, but it makes a huge difference in the final image. Sensors are not static. They react to temperature and environment conditions. If you ignore that, you can end up with a subtle noise patterns or inconsistencies that show up in your shadows, especially during longer shoots or when moving between different scenes. It ensures that what the camera reads as black is actually accurate, and this will result in a cleaner shadows, more consistent performance, and overall more reliable image. It is not flashy, it is not something clients will ever notice directly, but it is part of what separates a clean, professional image from something that feels slightly off. If you're currently shooting content for social media, but you're looking to transition into more professional stuff, more cinema stuff, then you're gonna have to start thinking about, upgrading, getting your hands on, more professional tools like the RED Komodo. And this is not to say the gear defines your skill, no, but it does define your ceiling. At a certain point in your career, you need to start using tools that wouldn't limit your output or your growth. Because at the end of the day, it's not really about owning or having a cool camera on your set. It's about productivity, it's about consistency, it's the confidence of knowing that whenever you show up on set, your camera is going to deliver. And not just images that look good today, but images that also stand the test of time. And this would also give you the confidence to even take on bigger projects. So if you're looking for a reliable camera rental house to try out the RED Komodo or any other film equipment at all, do check out Budget Camera Rental in Toronto. They do offer shipping as well across Ontario. And if you've been watching us and you haven't already joined our community, please consider subscribing, liking, sharing this video. We promise to drop new content every month. But until then, keep shooting.